this video, we will learn about modules in Python and how they are useful. Modules refer to a file containing Python statements and definitions. A file containing Python code, for example abc.py, is called a module and its module name would be abc. So we use the modules to break down large programs into small, manageable and organized files. Furthermore, modules provide reusability of code. We can define our most used functions in a module and import it instead of copying their definitions into different programs. Modules enable us to split parts of our program in different files for easier maintenance and better performance. As a beginner, you start working with Python on the interpreter. Later, when you need to write longer programs, you start writing scripts. And as your program grows bigger and bigger, you want to split it into several files for easier maintenance as well as reusability of the code. The solution to this is modules. You can define your most used functions in a module and import it instead of copying their definitions into different programs. A module can be imported by another program to make use of its functionality. This is how you can use the Python standard library as well. Now, to use the functionality present in any module, you have to use the keyword import in your current program. You need to use the import keyword along with the desired module name. When interpreter comes across an import statement, it imports the module to your current program. You can then use the function inside a module using a dot operator along with the module name. First, let's see how to use the standard library modules. So in the example below, math module is imported into the program so that you can use the square root function defined in it. So basically we import math. Well, it is missing here, but assume that we have import math, and next we have a variable which is equal to 4, and now with this module which is missing, which is actually math, we are calling a function which is inside the math module, which is known as square root, and then in the function we are passing this variable, and then that function will return the square root of this number 4. So we can use the dot operator to access the square root inside the module math. So now let's say that we have a module abc.py and it contains two methods. So assume that this is a module and we named it as abc.py and it contains two methods, sum and multiply. Now I have another module xyz.py which import the abc.py module. So basically we are importing the abc module that we have created right here, and then with this module name that we have imported, we are calling the sum and multiply function that we have defined here, and then these functions are returning the result right here. Now there are more ways to import modules. So we can import some specific statement from the module, some specific functions or variables from the module, or we can import everything from the module, and we can rename our module as well. We can only rename our imported module. So first we will look how can we import specific things from the module. So this statement, which is basically from module name, import the variable or function that we want to import, allows you to import specific function variables from a module instead of importing everything. So in the previous example, when you imported abc into the module xyz.py, both the add and multiply functions were imported. But what if you only need the add function in your code? Then we will actually use this statement. So here is what you need to do. We can say from abc import add. Now we are actually importing the add function from the abc module. So we are saying from the abc module import only the add function. Now we can only use the add function in the XYZ module. So actually we are now calling the add function from the ABC module, and it is returning the result 2 plus 3, which is equal to 5. So in the above example, only the add function is imported and used. Notice the use of add. You can now access it directly without using the module name. You can import multiple attributes as well, separating them with a comma in the import statement. Like in here, we can type from ABC import add, then comma multiply, comma subtraction, comma division, and so on. And notice that by importing very specific function, we only now need the name of this function, or we can say variable, to access that variable from that module ABC. Next we have another from statement, and this is basically used, and the static basically indicates that we are actually importing everything from the module. So you can import all attributes of a module using the statement right here. So this will make all attributes of imported module visible in your code. So here is an example to illustrate the use of the statement. So now here we are saying from ABC, so from the ABC module import static. So static means import everything from this module ABC. And now we can use both of these functions in the module XYZ. So note that in the professional world, you should avoid using the from import, or you can say from import everything, as it makes your code less readable. Now we will learn how can we basically rename the imported module. Well, you can rename the module you are importing, which can be useful in cases when you want to give a more meaningful name to the module, or the module name is too large to use repeatedly. So you can use the keyword as to rename it. So the following example explains how to use it in your program. So now we are basically importing the ABC module, and we will now use that module as A. So now this module in the imported class is now equal to A. And now we can actually call the add function using this A. Actually, I've got a mistake here. This should be A instead of CAL. So I can simply say A.add, and it will give me the result instead of typing ABC. So you save yourself some typing by renaming ABC as A. And note that you now cannot use the abc.add anymore, because we have told Python that we will actually be using this ABC module as A. This calculation is no longer recognized in your program. Now there are some advantages of modular programming. So modular programming basically refers to the process of breaking a large, unwieldy programming task into separate, smaller, more manageable subtasks or modules. Individual modules can then be cobbled together like building blocks to create a large application. There are several advantages to modularizing code in a large application. So the first thing we have is simplicity. Rather than focusing on the entire problem at hand, a module typically focuses on one relatively small portion of the problem. If you are working on a single module, you will have a smaller problem domain to wrap your head around. This makes development easier and less error prone. The next advantage that we have is maintainability. Modules are typically designed so that they enforce logical boundaries between different problems domain. If modules are written in a way that minimizes interdependencies, there is decreased likelihood that modification to a single module will have an impact on the other parts of the program. Well, you may even be able to make changes to a module without having any knowledge of the application outside that module. So this makes it more viable for a team of many programmers to work collaboratively on a large application. So the next advantage that we have is reusability. And I think that we have covered it in the starting slides. Well, Functionality defined in a single module can be easily reused by simply importing it, obviously, through an appropriate defined interface by other parts of the application. This eliminates the need of recreate duplicate code. Scoping. Modules typically define a separate namespaces, which helps avoid collision between identifiers in different areas of a program. So now finally, let's move on to coding so that you can understand it practically as well. So now open your PyCharm, and now in here I'm going to create a new file, and it will be a Python file, and I'm going to name it as abc.py. So now click OK. Okay, now in this module abc.py, I will create two functions, add and multiply. So def add, and it will take two arguments a and b, and it would return the sum of these two numbers. Now similarly, I will have one more function, multiply, and then it will also take two arguments, and it will return the result after multiplying them. So return a multiply by b, and then I will have one more function of, let's say, division a and b, and it will return the result a divided by b. Now finally, I will have one more function of, let's say, subtraction, and it will also take two arguments, and it will subtract two numbers, so a minus b. I'm missing this colon here, here, and here. Okay, now I'm going to create one more module. So Python file, and I'm going to name this module as xyz.py, and now hit OK. And now what I'm going to do is that I will import this module abc.py. So type import abc, and now remember that not to type the extension .py while importing the module. So now I can say simply, and now I can actually use these functions once I've imported this module. So I can now say print abc, which is the module that I've imported, and then I can call the add function, and let's say that it will be 3 and 4. Now I'm going to use one more function from the imported module, and it will be, let's say, multiply, and it's 4 and 3. So now when I run this xyz module, so run, and it is xyz, and I'm getting an error, attribute error, module abc has no attribute, abc meta. And the reason I'm getting this error is because this abc.py module is a built-in module, and we cannot name our own module the same as built-in modules. So actually we need to actually rename it, or we can actually delete it. So just copy everything from here, and now we will delete this module. So right here where it is, now we will delete it. So delete, click OK, and now I will create a new module, and I'm going to name it as abcd, and now hit OK. Cannot get file in this. Okay, so I'm going to name it as abcde, and now hit OK. And now when I paste the previous code And now in here we will import ABCE, and now everything should work fine. Right here ABCDE, ABCDE. So actually now everything is fine. So basically in this module xyz.py we are importing the ABCDE module, and then we are actually using this function in this module xyz by importing this module. So I think I can now run it, and now you can see that the error is gone and it is giving me the result 3 plus 4 7, and 4 multiplied by 3 is equal to 12. Now I can make use of the now I can be importing only, let's say, the division module from the ABCDE module. So I can type from ABCDE import the module only division, and now in here I need to get rid of this, and this, and now in here I can type division, and then I need to pass two arguments. Let's say it is 6 and 2, and now when I run it, and now notice that I can only use the division function from this module ABCDE because I have only imported the division method from the ABCDE module. So now when I run it, it will give the result 3.0. Now similarly I can import everything from the ABCDE module by typing here static, and now I can, let's say, print use the subtract method. So it is, let's say, 5 and 4. So now when I run it, so you can see that now I can use any method which is in the ABCDE module by importing everything from the module ABCDE using this direct symbol. Now I'm going to tell you that how basically we can rename or import the imported module. So I can say import ABCDE as, let's say, A, and now I can call this method by using a.division. So 6 and 2, and now similarly a dot sub, let's say, and it is also 6 and 2. So now when I run it, and it is giving me some output. So basically, and now I've told you in the slide that I now cannot use the ABCDE module to call this method because I have told here Python that I will use this module ABCDE as A in my code. So if I type here ABCDE dot division, and now when I run it, it will throw an error which is name error because it does not know about this module ABCDE, because we have told Python to use this module ABCDE as A. So now in the future we can only refer to this module function as A. So now it will work fine. So I think that you now understand what basically modules are and how they are useful, and that was the purpose of the tutorial. So now at the end,
you to another tutorial on Python basic. In this tutorial, what we are going to do is that we are going to cover an if name equal to main. Now what does it mean? The if name equal to main is actually going to give a direction to the flow of our code. So for example, we have two functions and we want the second function to be executed first and the first function to be executed later. Then that job can be done using if name equal to main. So if I just illustrate this with the help of an example, so I will create two functions. Let's say the name of first function is hello, and it is just printing a hello for us. Oops, not here. And then we will create a second function named hi, and it's also going to simply print out a hi for us. So now here we are going to specify an if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to quotation marks, and in this quotation marks we are going to write in underscore underscore main underscore underscore and then a colon. So in here I'm going to write in hi, which means I'm calling the function named hi, and then I'm calling the function named hello. So if I just run this code, you can see that we have this hi at the first, since we call it first, and then we have this hello right here. So if I just swap these and first call the hello function and then call the hi function, and now I run this code, you can see that this hello is at top and this hi is at the bottom. So the purpose of this main function is just to structure your program and to give it a sense of direction. You might be considering that if you just remove this from here, just move it back, run this code, then we have the very same output. But in very lengthy programs, you have to specify this main so you can give a direction to your program. You have to call functions, you have to call in structures, you have to call in many things. So the use of if name equal to main is very necessary in those cases. So I hope that's clear. So that's it with this tutorial. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the later tutorials.